Hi everybody, I am your delightful host, Brian Mullins the Fox, introducing to you, the audience, to a brand new miniseries called Setting the Pace, Brian Mullins the Fox's guide to point out fallacies and inaccuracies of statistics. In this episode, which is episode 1 by the way, I will get to the basics or the beginnings of how to check your sources, and before I do that, I will introduce the episode schedule from here on out. Episode 1, Introduction / Check Your Sources. Episode 2, Fact Check and then double check the numbers. Episode 3, Ignore statistics, in quotations, that are irrelevant / hidden behind a paywall. Episode 4, Ignore quote-unquote statistics that are used as misinformation / disinformation. Episode 5, Fallacies, cherry picking. Episode 6, Fallacies, the Texas sharpshooter. Episode 7, Fallacies, the gambler's fallacy. Episode 8, Fallacies, ad hominem / poisoning the well. Episode 9, recapping the series. And episode 10, series closing rant / conclusion of miniseries. Now, since that's out of the way, let me show you the way to check your sources. Number 1, check your sources if you see or are confused at the fact that the math simply doesn't add up, or there are some discrepancies in the data / statistical analysis. Because of those numbers, figures, or the overarching field of studying data like this is wrong, call them out on it. Number 2, check your sources if you notice a certain level of bias or favoritism of the sources that the article or video tends to cite on a regular or consistent basis. Because if those sources are wrong, call them out on it. Number 3, check your sources if you spot a pattern that each and every article keeps regurgitating the same debunked numbers over and over again. Chances are they don't just not have data, but they have a reason to use some other country's data, but they won't tell you because the data is conveniently not in their articles or videos, which I will get back to in number 10. 4. Check your sources if the author of said article or video is either committing a logical or informal fallacy. I will get to fallacies from episode 5 to 8 of this series. Number 5. Check your sources if they promote propaganda, even in the numbers and stats, for example, PETA. 6. Check your sources if you spot this one source being debunked on statistics / data, in quotations, being touted as factual and as truth. For example, dogbites.org or dog bite statistics. Number 7. Check your sources if you spot that the event in question or causation in question does not match or correlate with the data / statistics given to you by said source, said article, or said author of said article. Number 8. Check your sources if either they give you false information, lie to you, or just downright have no stats or data to back their propaganda up with in the first place. Number 9. Check your sources if the numbers and figures for said data is just downright made up and you can't check back on your sources for a second time because other sources will contradict it for many reasons. To name a few, because the figures are just wrong, fear-mongering, cherry-picking, and or to further push more propaganda. And finally, number 10, my biggest concern. Please check your sources if the numbers or figures are representative of the correct countries, not having to rely on stealing stats or data from another country and use it as our own. It will save you a fuckload of resources, time, and even money if it's hidden behind a paywall. And again, which I will cover stats and articles showing data, but is hidden behind a paywall in episode 3. Thank you all for watching the first episode of this miniseries. Tune in next time where I will be talking about fact-checking and then double-checking the numbers or statistics or facts or what have you. I'm your host, Brian Mullins the Fox, signing out. See you then.